guest today loves solving big. And by big, I mean the biggest N by N recognized by the WCA, the 7 by 7. Hey guys, so I'm so sorry for interrupting the video. Please don't tell Rishabh about this. The thing is, I'm the head editor here at Turnspeed Cubing. But the problem you see here is that almost 60% of you that are watching this video have not subscribed to the channel. Rishabh is going to behead me if you guys don't subscribe to the channel. So, stop doing what you're doing and hit the subscribe button right now and turn post notifications on so that I am not dead and you keep getting your videos on time. I hope you guys do that. Ciao. Our guest today loves solving big. And by big, I mean the biggest N by N recognized by the WCA, the 7 by 7. He is the defending national champion. He also loves to do origami and he loves sketching. He is an aspiring guitarist and musician. But the one thing that differentiates him from all of us is not his records or his love for music, but it's his love for doing maths. So, let's welcome our guest for today. Hey Kunal, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good, Rishabh.
So, how's quarantine been for you?
It's been surprisingly good. I've tried to be productive, and yeah, it's been good.
That's good. That's good. Before we start with all of the questions, uh, how would you describe yourself as an Instagram bio or a Twitter tweet?
Let me think. I honestly have no clue. Just give me a sec to think about it. Uh, I'm completely lost. Oh my god.
Okay, let's say. Let's just say
Uh,
Speedcuber, musician, math lover.
I guess yeah. I mean that's that works. I mean, I'm so
Okay,
lost on this
that
question. Yeah.
that's alright. That's good. How did you get into cubing, and how did that transition into you solving 7 by 7 and then getting faster at that?
Yeah, so I actually started cubing because, most non-cubers think it's kind of an impossible thing.
Yeah.
And there was a senior in my bus who had the same bus stop as me, and he learned how to solve it, and he was very arrogant about it.
Okay.
So I pretty much learned to beat him.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
yeah.
that's like the totally opposite story that I have. My senior knew how to solve it. He taught it to me, and that's how I got into cubing. So that's great. So how did that transition
Yeah.
to solving the 7 by 7, getting into the big cubes?
Yeah, so like most people, I had kind of I preferred the smaller events like 2 by 2, 3 by 3. I even did pyramids at a time.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
ask. Yeah, and so I used to do 3 by 3 a lot. I used to get semi-frequent podiums,
Okay.
but at one competition I missed podium and PR average in finals because of a +2.
Oh,
Um,
that's
so I realized that 3 by 3 is just a very inconsistent event, and that focusing on big cubes would basically it has a larger margin for error. Like even if like right now in 7 by 7 in Delhi competitions, even if I mess up by I don't know 20 seconds, then I have a good chance at winning because no one else really does it in Delhi.
okay. Yeah.
So yeah, and the funny thing is like right after I stopped focusing on 3 by 3, I got my first 3 by 3 win at SNU. Yeah, so it's funny how things work out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, actually in Delhi, I don't think there are many big cube solvers. Uh,
Hmm.
so a margin like that would not cost you that much in competitions. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
at nationals, yes, but not at local competitions. And at that point, I wasn't thinking about nationals.
Yeah,
I was still an amateur. Yeah.
uh, that's really good. How often do you practice in a week, and what do you practice other than the 3 by 3 and the 7 by 7?
So I would say I practice every day. I try to do at least an hour a day, I would say. Aside from 3 by 3 and 7 by 7, I'm trying to get my 5x5 and 6x6 times a bit comparable to my 7x7 times because they are comparatively worse.
Okay, so before we get into your records and all of those podiums and all that, you also have the other side to you, and that is playing the guitar and music. Tell us how you got into playing the guitar, and what made you fall in love with it.
So I actually, like, up until class 5 I didn't play guitar. Our school only provided Indian music options at that point. In class 6 we were able to choose an extracurricular. I was torn between guitar and robotics and I ended up choosing guitar. Yeah. So and then the thing is, in school my teacher was kind of one of those jack of all trades, master of none. He was teaching all the instruments, so he wasn't particularly good in either any of them. Yeah. So in class 7, I joined a music school, and my teacher at the time, his name was Vikas. Phenomenal teacher, and he's really the one who made me fall in love with guitar. And at that point, I was kind of a lazy person, you know. I used to be like, I want to do stuff that's easy for me. And he gave me a big mindset shift by telling me that you can only really get better by doing things that are outside of your comfort zone. And that
So
applies to everything, even cubing now. Yeah.
so big shout out to Vikas sir, man, because
Yeah.
if he's played such a big role in your life, then yeah. Okay, now for your records. You are the defending national champion. Tell the viewers and even me, even I have a lot of doubts about this. What does it mean to be a defending national champion, and how is it different from holding a national record?
Yeah, so the main difference is a record is something you can get at any competition, right? Even at local competitions, you can break a record, and that's where they're usually broken. But a national title or any championship title, national, continental, or world, you can only get a title at the championships. So, national championships are annual, and continental and world championships are once in 2 years.
So it's a big crown to hold on your head, being the defending national champion. How does it feel to be the national champion, and how did it feel when you actually got the record, got the title? So tell us something about that. Tell us about the competition that you got in.
So yeah, I got it at Indian Nationals 2019. Um, it was my first records were technically on my birthday, like the day before my birthday in staff rounds, but the results were uploaded on my birthday. And I was an organizer, so I did compete in the staff rounds.
Okay.
And first solve, I got 228 NR single. So you may not know
Wow.
this, but
Yeah.
late in 2018, I got a 227 single in competition, but the timer turned off.
Oh.
And I was given an extra, but that would have been NR by 9 seconds at the time, and I missed out on that because of a timer
Unfortunately.
malfunction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, fortunately, so I got a 228 mean, and then, 228 single and 235 mean, I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
And then I broke the mean again in finals with a 234.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you also spoke about timer malfunction, and that's an issue that everyone's facing right now. I mean,
Hmm.
every
Yeah.
Gen 4 StackMat timer has the problem where the reset button is placed right where you place your hands, and
Hmm.
because of that, it gets reset. Do you think the YJ timer? I mean, specifically talking about the YJ timer because it has the reset button in the back, if I'm not wrong.
I think it's on the front, yeah.
It's on the front. So
Yeah.
it does not come in contact with your hands
Hmm.
or your palms when you're stopping or starting the timer. So do you think if YJ and maybe StackMat themselves they come together with this patent issues that they have, would it be possible for the YJ timer to become more mainstream?
Okay, first off, to clarify, I mean, there are more issues in speed stacks than just the reset thing. So, for example, in my case, the timer actually turned off when I
Oh,
stopped it,
okay.
which is like even worse. Yeah, because if it's a reset, then it would have been DNF'd.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I got an extra. And the thing is, SpeedStacks has a patent on that particular design. Now, the problem is that all other companies are trying to make a timer with the same design but cheaper.
Okay.
And I don't really think SpeedStacks is going to partner with any of these companies, but I hope they at least kind of learn something from the button placement of the YJ timer. Because that's not something that's difficult to implement. They just
Yeah,
change the
it's
location of the reset
it's
button.
it's
right?
very
Yeah.
easy. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe if StackMat, they're watching this video right now, I hope they implement this. That would
I
be
hope
great.
so, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of malfunction cause a lot of record losses, and you would not want that.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that you can just put O-rings on the timers, but it's not just the reset thing, right? There's
Yeah, there are
quite a lot of problems. Yeah.
So one of the most exciting things happening right now is the Indian Cubing League, hosted by JFF Cuber Vaishnav and Arsh Katia. So you are a participant. There are 5 others with you. So tell the viewers and myself what the ICL is and how does it feel, because you also won the previous match against Nikhil Suarez, and it was a very tight match.
It was,
I watched
yeah.
it, yeah. I commentated for that, so
Yeah.
tell us something about that.
So it's meant to be season 1 at least. It's a fairly exclusive competition, like you said, with only 5 people besides myself, so total of 6. And it's meant to. It's kind of. It's definitely inspired by Monkey League. It uses the same format because what we found is that format is extremely spectator friendly. This is a very popular opinion.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the point of this format, as opposed to a more traditional competition, is just to be kind of more fun for the spectators to watch. And it's a very unforgiving format. Like, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
in my match with Nikhil, there's one average which I won by like
It-
0.03. Yeah, and he
It was
didn't
very
get any
close.
points of that as a result. Yeah. So it can get really close, and I mean, there's no plans for a season 2 right now. But if there is a season 2, we'll try to make it more inclusive. Yeah.
Have qualifiers like the Monkey League does. And,
Maybe, yeah.
What is your most favorite moment as a cuber? And I think we all know the answer, but it's something that we have to ask.
I mean, most people would guess it to be my first ever 7x7 national record or national title, but actually, I would say it's my first ever 3x3 win. Yeah, it was at SNU Open 2017 because this was at a time when Aryan was kind of on a hot streak. He had won 3 consecutive competitions and no one really thought he could be beaten in Delhi. So, yeah, and it's only 1 out of my 2 competition wins to date, so it's still a very rare thing for me. So, yeah, I would say that was my favorite 3x3 moment. Favorite cubing moment, not just 3x3, yeah.
That's good. That's really good. My final question is, because I think it's more relevant. This question is more relevant to someone like you, because you're an aspiring musician, which is different from cubing. Will you ever stop cubing, or is there anything that has the power to stop you from cubing?
I mean, see, the main motivation for me to practice is improving. So once I reach a point where I just realistically cannot improve more, I might start doing some other events just for the sake of trying new things out, like BLD. But yeah, once there comes a point when it just requires too much effort to improve, then I might quit practicing. But I don't really think I'll ever quit competing in the near future because that's something I really enjoy.
Yeah, that's something, anyone who's ever thought, beginners, or anyone that thinks, maybe I can't do this anymore, I want to quit. It's okay if you don't do well. Just go to competitions and you have a big
Yeah.
community there.
Yeah.
It's a huge
Yeah, exactly.
community.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really the main attraction of cubing is the community. At least personally.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. It was really fun having you here, Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us for the interview. Do you have anything you want to say to beginner cubers before we end this interview?
Yeah, I would say just don't shy away from going to competitions. I mean, a lot of people don't know this because they only look at my WCA profile. I started competing in 2015, but I actually went to an unofficial competition back in 2013, which was near my home. And I did really poorly. But the thing is, I met some cool people there. Like that's where I first met Akash Rupela, and he's one of my closest friends now.
And
Yeah,
one of
and
the best mosaic artists for cubing. Yeah.
yeah, definitely, yeah. And like, just compete. You will get better with time, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't start competing early because it's just a lovely experience, you know? You meet a lot of like minded people, and I mean, some of my closest friends are from cubing.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Kunal. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Maybe I'll see you next time when I come around to Delhi for a competition.
Yeah, definitely, hopefully.
Yeah. Bye. See you.
Yeah. Okay. See you.
Wow, what an amazing and insightful person Kunal was. It was really fun having him here and talk to us about various things like what it is to be a national champion and things like how the timer resets are a problem. I'm also going to be interviewing JFF Cuber and Arsh Katiyar on what the ICL is and other various things. So if you have any questions for them, please put it down in the comments below. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn post notifications on so you don't miss out such awesome and amazing interviews with various speed cubers and also for some really nice tutorials. I'll see you guys in my next video.